Renee, can you hear me well?
Yes, Emily, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Welcome. Please take the call over. It's all yours.
Well, thank you very much, Emily, for that amazing introduction. And again, it's a great honor to be on the call tonight. As much as my story sounds great, some of you may not realize that I started pretty much where you guys were a long time ago, about 12 years ago in my first company. And one thing that I've learned over my first two companies where I wasn't really successful in the sense of being able to build a big team, and make some profits. What I learned was that the biggest part that I had to get over was the approach section. I find that some people can learn a lot about products. You can become a master of products, you become a master of the competition plan like I was, and I love the comp plan so much. I just love breaking things down because I was a programmer by nature. You can know so much about the business, the back office, the website, but if you're not good at approaching, I found that you're not going to be able to build that residual income over life, right? So I remember in a training I watched a long time ago, they focused on, again, if you just focus your first 2 years in being able to become really, really good at approaches, wow, will your business ever explode? And so let me start by saying, first of all, a very good evening, though, to all of you on the call tonight. I'm really looking forward to delivering this training tonight on approaches because I hope that this training tonight will allow you guys to change your business forever. Okay. Now, in the approaches, I hope you have some paper and pen ready here. In the approaches, just realize that there's four main steps to do. Four main steps in the approach. That's it. Four steps. Okay. If you do these four steps in the right order, and you do them properly, you will most likely 99% of the time be able to book someone to watch a presentation. And we all know that the more presentations we deliver, it's a numbers game. Maybe out of every 10, if two join, fantastic. If eight join, wonderful. But it's always about a numbers game, right? So my goal tonight is to be able to teach you guys how to become really good at approaches, but also for you to teach your brand new LCs. Okay, if you have a brand new LC who just got started in the business and they don't have any experience before in this business, then again the same thing, right? The toughest part for someone to learn sometimes can be approaches. Now some people might have that natural ability to approach and they have this bubbly character or they're very, very outgoing, have a lot of friends. But for me that wasn't the case. So either way, for all my brand new LCs, I always have them watch this training called the approach training. Okay, so let's get right into this right away. The approach section here. So let's find when my screen starts showing up. Here we go. So understand this, that the mindset is everything. I feel that sometimes people go into approaching people and they haven't even checked their own mindset. It's really everything. Because if you have the right mindset and you're here to help someone else change your life, you're here to help someone else save on taxes, you're here to give someone else more value. If you're here to help someone else, that's the right kind of mindset. If you have the wrong mindset, everything usually goes wrong. If you're thinking about trying to get someone to join a package because they want them to become a Diamond member, then or you see like dollar signs on their foreheads, then that's a wrong mindset, and typically things will always go wrong after that. Okay, so in terms of helping you prepare the right mindset for yourself, let me ask you a question. If this business is good enough for you and for your family that you would launch your business, launch your VDM and get started, then isn't it good enough for other people? Because sometimes it's weird. I meet some people out there who feel like they can't talk to their friends and families, but that's completely backwards to me. Because if I found something that I saw so much value in, that I saw something that was good enough for me to get started, then why wouldn't I show that to my family and friends? In fact, why wouldn't my family and friends be the first ones I talk to? Sure, they might be negative, sure, they might have different opinions, but again, it always comes down to on how you approach it. And when I approach, a lot of my family and friends, look, I found something that is really, really powerful, and I see a lot of benefit in it. I just want to share it with you. There's nothing wrong with sharing. So if your mindset is in that kind of a mindset, then your family and friends won't get that negative feeling from you, right? And so keep in mind, if it's good enough for you, it's got to be good enough for other people. And the first people you should be showing it to should be your friends and family. Because if my sister Monica If I wasn't the first person she showed this to, and Monica's now retired from the business, can you imagine how pissed I would be if Monica never told me this business and I was not her first person? If she told her friends first before me, I'd be pissed off. So, I'm just really thankful to Monica that she actually, dragged me and made sure I took a look at the business and really understood it. And she told me, Renee, I'm doing this, with or without you, but I want you to see it because this is why I think it's so powerful. It's up to you. And I really, really respected that about her. Okay. So, and the other part of your mindset should be really just giving enough people what they want. Because if you give enough people what they want, you will eventually have everything that you want. In this business, the only way you can become successful is by helping other people become successful. And just have that in your mindset. So if your goal here is try to help someone else achieve financial freedom, hey, that's a great mindset to have, okay? And lastly, again, you're not here to get money from people. There's no dollar signs on people's foreheads, right? So you're not thinking, oh, Anne-Marie, I can see a diamond potential. I gotta go get her and enjoy my business. For me, I never have that kind of a mindset when I'm going through my daily approaches. I'm just thinking, how can I provide more value for this person? How can I help this person improve their lifestyle? So the mindset is very, very important. Okay. As well is to be the messenger, not the message. So what this basically means in be the messenger and not the message is try not to say too much. And sometimes people make the mistake and they have what we call verbal diarrhea, or they're puking on someone else. You don't want to go into too much details because that's what we have the presentation for. The presentation is to help you deliver that message properly. Your job is just to go through these 4 steps I'm going to cover very soon, and to have them basically sit down with you to watch your presentation. So your goal is to schedule that presentation, okay? Now, some of you might have this issue where you hate selling. In fact, I don't think anyone on this call, most of us don't like selling, and we don't like being sold. As human nature, we don't like being sold. We don't like the feeling when we're shopping and someone comes and approaches us and wants to sell us something. We feel pressured, right? So we don't like being sold, so don't sell someone else. Okay, so if you have that mindset that you're trying to sell someone something, I need you to change that mindset right away. Your mindset should be sharing. We're here to share. We're not here to sell people anything. We're here to share with people an amazing opportunity that could possibly change your life because we thought it could change our own lives and we want to share it with someone else. So if what do you do when you watch a good movie? You share it. What do you do when you have a great, steak or a great salmon or a great, I don't know, a steak at a restaurant? You share it, right? What do you do when you find a great deal on something? You share it. So, what should you do if you found a great opportunity? You should share it. And my job tonight is to share with you guys how to share it properly. So how to say the right things to share and not say the wrong things when you're sharing. Okay. So the whole mindset is about helping others, knowing that it's good for you, it's good for them, and let's just go and share this business with as many people as possible. Okay. So some quick tips though, when you are doing your approaches, what you'll find to start a conversation. So whether I'm at a coffee shop or I'm going through a drive-through or I'm buying dinner, I'm going shopping, I'm always trying to start a conversation with someone. I just like talking to people anyways, okay? I wasn't always like this before, but I've got so used to talking to people that I just like talking to people now. Is to start the conversation, but to start it correct, start in the right way. So what you want to do is you want to give someone a compliment. Okay, people love getting compliments. People can't get enough compliments. Okay, so you could give a compliment as well if you're gonna be smart about it, to talk about some of the products that we sell if they have it on their bodies. So for example, hey, I love your watch, or a nice handbag, nice earrings, a nice bracelet, nice necklace. So you can actually compliment people on the kind of products that we also sell, because later on, when they, if they compliment you back on your products, your watch or your handbag, you can now say things like, oh, you know what, thank you so much, I get paid to wear this. So you can turn that conversation into a business conversation. Okay, it could be a very generic compliment. Hey, nice day today. I love your dress. Hey, nice shoes, buddy. Hey, you're a really outgoing person. If I meet someone who's very business minded, I'll say, you're a very business minded entrepreneur, or you're a really successful person in your business, or you're a great friend and one that can really count on. So, look at these different scripts we have here. Write down the one that you can see yourself saying, or write them all down and give it a try. So tomorrow, through your whole entire day tomorrow, what I want you to do is get out there, start having conversations with people all around you, and start the conversation by giving them a compliment. That's the easiest way. If someone doesn't feel like talking to you, you're gonna get that vibe. They're gonna say, just kind of basically say thank you and ignore you, right? But you'll find that some people actually want to have a chat with you. Okay, it's a great way to start a conversation. And make sure that you also smile. And this whole part here is like and trust. This whole part that I just told you right now about having conversation, the whole purpose is our first step, is to build like and trust. So step one is building the like and trust to create that bond between you and your prospect, okay? And you do that again by giving a compliment and carrying over the conversation, okay? Now, as part of building like and trust, if you don't know what to talk about, you can use FORM. And FORM stands for family, occupation, recreation, and money. And again, approaching is all about having a conversation with someone. Okay, it's not about selling them the business, it's not about talking about the business, it's about having a conversation. Okay, so don't say too much about the opportunity. Okay, don't focus on rushing into the business right away. Okay, just talk about talking, just have a conversation. And the goal is just to meet a new friend. So think of your job tomorrow when you're going out there to talk to people. Your goal is to meet a few new friends. That's it. That's it. So go out there and meet as many new friends as possible. Okay, that's what I do. And the last week, I think I personally sponsored like 5 people into the business just by applying the training that I'm showing you tonight. Okay, again, ask questions and listen. Okay, so when you're talking to someone, just remember that our job is to listen to what they have to say. Some of you guys, when you get into the approach mode, I know it already, you talk way too much. You're over talking. Okay, you never want to do that. You always want to let your people listen. When you ask a question, you listen and they just keep on talking. Because sometimes you want to try to find out what's their itch, which we're going to cover in a quick short second here. Okay, so again, we all have 2 ears, one mouth, because we should be listening than twice the amount that we're talking. Because by listening, we will identify the problems that someone might have in their lives, and we are here to help them solve those problems. Okay, and understand that most people don't talk enough about themselves. So when you give someone the chance to talk about their life, they're instantly going to like you because you're one of the very very few people in the world that will actually listen to them. Most people don't feel like they have someone that's listening to them. So if you become that good listener, they're going to like you right away. Okay. The whole goal here is to really to find their itch. So by doing form and having this conversation, our goal again is to find their itch, and what their itch really is what's their need or their want, or what is the problem that they have right now. Everyone has the same problem. They want more time, they want more money. Everyone has the same need. They need more time, need more money. They want more time, want more money. Okay. But if you're not listening to someone when they're talking to you, then you don't know what the problem is. It's just you always talking. Hence, listen more. Okay. Then, again, keep in mind, you can't give someone, a solution to a problem that they don't have. So in other words, you can't sell someone a shovel to a hole that they don't have to dig, right? You can't sell someone, a laptop if they're not looking to buy one. So again, by listening really well, by asking questions and listening, we will identify what is that person's problem, and now we can apply the solution to that problem. Okay. So once we find that itch, now it's time to scratch it. Okay. In other words, ask more questions. So if they tell you know what, yeah, I'm not really happy about my job. Oh, you're not really happy about your job? Yeah, my manager, he just made me work overtime the last whole week. Oh, your manager made you work overtime the whole last week? So just by repeating the things that he said, but you repeat it in a way that it's like a question, it will allow them to ask even more, to describe more of what the problem is. Okay, so I like to sometimes repeat after what someone said, but in a question format. so that they want to keep on going into more details about their problem, okay, and expand into that as well too. So um, so here are some really great questions to ask when you are chatting with people, and write these questions down, okay? For your family and friends, it could be someone you just met, right? I love asking questions like, hey, whereabouts are you from? Being in Toronto or Calgary, there's so many different people, different backgrounds, right? I love asking that question. Whereabouts are you from? Or hey, what's your background? Oh, do you have family here? Do you have lots of friends here? Are your friends back at home mostly here? Or what languages do you speak? These are great questions to ask just to, learn more about them, right? Because in the future, these people you're talking to will become your potential business partners. You want to know as much about them as possible, okay? So for occupation, you could ask, hey, I love asking these three questions. I always ask these three questions in the same order. I'll say, hey, Mr. Prospect, what do you do for a living? And it doesn't matter what the answer is, you move on to question number two. Number two is, oh, well, how long have you been doing that for? It doesn't matter what the answer is, you move on to question number three. Oh, you must love what you're doing. At that point in time, what you're going to find out is their problem. That most people do not like their jobs. Most people, if they were not paid a penny for working at that job, they would not work in that job. Okay, so sometimes people tell me, oh, I really love my job. Really? So if you didn't get paid for that, for what you're doing, and you could not survive, would you still do that job? The answer is no, right? We do things because we need to provide food on the table for our families. Okay, if you weren't paid a penny for what you were doing, you wouldn't do it. All right. So, and most people actually hate their jobs. So now, if you find that someone hates their job, now we can go into more and have them talk more about their problem, which is that they don't like the job. And later on, we can now apply a solution for them. Okay. Or you can ask, is that all you're doing? Is that all you're doing right now? Is this your job? I love asking because sometimes I want to find out if someone else has another side business, or if they're business minded. Okay. Or do you have your own business? Ever thought about having your own business? So these are great questions to ask when it comes to talking about occupation. For recreation, could be, hey, what do you do for fun? Do you like to enjoy traveling? Where would you like to travel to? Where did you last go for vacation? What are your hobbies? Just chit chat, right? If you find something that you have in similarity with a person, hey, have more fun talking about that. If I meet someone else that likes doing volleyball or badminton or going karaoke, who knows, right? I'll go into more talking about that. If they're a sports fan, talk more about sports, right? But just by doing that, you're going to build more like and trust. And of course, money, right? The money is where the questions can get really, really hot in terms of it can really help you a lot with identifying where they're at in terms of their problem in their life. So, ever thought about retirement? That's a loaded question. That's a good question to ask for all your prospects. Have you ever thought about retirement? What age would you want to retire at? How much money would you want to have in the bank when you retire? And I don't know if you guys realize this, but the average Canadian right now, according to Stats Canada, wants to have $1.3 million in the bank to retire comfortably at the age of 65. So how many of you on the call tonight have $1.3 million in the bank right now to retire? How many of you on the call tonight are on track by the age of 65 to have $1.3 million in the bank to retire comfortably? And by the way, that's right now, 1.3 million. By the time most of us hit retirement, it's going to be like triple that, 10 times that. Because again, inflation, things cost more, the value of the dollar is going down, right? So, but I love asking these questions because it gets my prospect thinking, hey, you know what? My job isn't really going to cut it for me. I got to do something else on the side to get me further ahead faster, right? Okay. Or could you use more money in your life? Or if money in time wasn't an issue, what would you rather do? And most people will tell you what they'd rather do. I'd rather travel and go around the world and, take care of my family, right? Again, you've now identified what the problem is. Now we can apply the business to help them as a solution, okay? For those people who are in countries where you pay a lot of taxes, do you pay a lot of taxes? And one of the benefits here, especially in Canada and the USA, is by having a business, you can actually lower your income taxes, right? So I mean, for me, most of my approaches here in Canada and the USA are all about, hey, do you pay a lot of taxes? Well, let me show you a way to save on taxes. So again, when I ask that question, do you pay a lot of taxes? They say, yes, I have now identified the problem. And my job now is to give a solution to the problem. Is, hey, just by having a side business, did you realize you can get back $3,000 to $9,000 a year in tax savings? Wow, really? Yeah, let me show you how. Let's go for coffee. So again, all these questions are designed to find out what the problem is, and then now we go into the solution. Okay, so step one again was build, like, and trust. Okay, step two, I kind of covered it just now. Step two is all about preparing your prospect's mindset. And the questions that we just showed you are really good questions to help you prepare your prospect's mindset. Okay, so the importance of preparing. The more time you spend now preparing your prospect's mindset, the less time you waste later on. Understand this really carefully. The more time you spend right now upfront, before you show the prospect the business, the more time you spend right now preparing their mindset or pre-qualifying their mindset, the less time you will waste afterwards. Okay? But what does it mean to prepare their mindset? It's very simple. You want to check to see if your prospect is in the right mindset, meaning, are they open to see a business? If you're talking to people and you're just launching right into the business and they haven't told you, or you haven't identified in your prospect that they want to even see a business, or they need a business, then you're just going to be blowing your smoke. Like, you're just be wasting a lot of time for yourself. Okay. And in preparing, what I mean is to get your prospect into the right mindset again before you show them the opportunity. Okay, if you try to dive into the business right away, it's going to be a lot harder after the tour is done to now try to convince them for the business, right? If you spend more time before the business opportunity to understand where they're at, help them fix their mindset, you save so much time during closing because now they're already open-minded to want to have a business. Okay, so the whole point again of preparing a mindset is to help your prospect come to the realization that they need a home-based business. Can you imagine that? If all the people you talk to, if you spend a bit more time in preparing their mindset and they all realize that they need to have a home-based business, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't you be saving yourself so much time? Wouldn't they become more open and having a more happier conversation with you together because now that you showed them a way to help them solve their problems? Absolutely. So I also want you to understand the psychology of preparing your prospect's mindset. Because for me, I'm the kind of person that if I don't understand why I'm doing something, I can't do it properly. Once I understand the why, the psychology of what I'm doing, then I can do it very, very effectively. Okay, so keep in mind that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So if you jump right into selling, they feel like you don't really care about them. All you want to do is get their money. But if you spend time to talk to someone to find out, and you show that person how much you care about their life, now they care to know about what you have to share with them to help them change your life. Okay? And lastly, if you don't prepare and you just show someone the business opportunity and they are not interested, then let me ask you, what happens next? So you didn't go into preparing their mindset, you dove into the business, now they're not interested, what happens next? Well, now you're doing all the same things in preparing their mindset that you do before the tour, but now you're doing it after the tour. When you try to do all the convincing after the business, you now sound pushy. You sound selly, okay? But if you do this preparing the prospect's mindset before the business opportunity tour, now you sound like you care more because you're asking, you're telling them how they need to have a backup plan, that they should plan for the retirement. By having that conversation before the tour, you sound like you care about them. If you do it after the tour, you sound like you're just trying to sell them to join, right? So do as much as you can before the tour happens, okay? Some key pointers here. There may be times when you're talking to your prospect, like I've been, where I'm trying to prepare their mindset on retirement, and they're being negative. But you know what? You stay positive, okay? It doesn't matter what kind of reaction your prospect has. You always keep that smile on your face. You always stay positive, okay? You may find the person you're talking to isn't even someone that you want to work with. That's okay. Okay, take it as practice. All right. Um, you may find that the person isn't even ready or looking. So sometimes I talk to someone and they're like, they're already in the mindset of they love their job, 9 to 5, and they want to just come home and watch TV and they don't want anything else. They might just be the wrong person, but that's the whole purpose of pre-qualifying your prospects, right? But even if they're like that, that's okay. You can still do the tour, treat it as practice, okay? Um, Again, you don't sell someone a shovel who doesn't need to dig a hole. Okay, so again, identify the problem first so you can solve it properly. And again, the information you gather now, you can use it as a post tour. So all the information you gather upfront before the tour happens, after the tour is done, you can now apply it to the solution. So if you find out that the person hates their job, you can now say, no, I know how much you hate your job, and wouldn't this be an amazing thing to do on the side that eventually may become full-time for you? You can actually quit your job over time, right? Something like that, okay? So again, great questions to ask. We already covered this question before. What do you do for a living? How long have you been doing it for? And you must love what you do. Okay, I pretty much ask this question to every single person I talk to. Another great question to ask: do you plan to work at your current job indefinitely? I promise you, most people don't want to work at their jobs forever, right? And if they say no, what should you say? If they say no, you would ask, well, do you have a plan, or what's your plan to not be stuck at your job forever, right? Start asking these questions, get them thinking about their future, okay? I love asking this question, especially for younger people. Hey, what do your parents do for a living? Because if the parents run a business and they're successful, promote that. Hey, aren't you fortunate that you have a good lifestyle because your parents had a business, right? Now promote the fact that having a business is a great thing to have. And then mention, by having multiple businesses and multiple passive income businesses, is that even better? Okay. If the answer is, well, my parents have a 9 to 5 job doing this and that, then what you do? Ask these questions. Ask, well, are your parents retiring soon? Will they have enough funds to retire? Or do you want to live the same lifestyle as your parents? And let me ask you, what's the purpose of me asking these questions? The purpose is to have my prospect realize that, hey, you know what? I have a job. My parents have a job. They're not retiring. They're not happy. I should do something different. I don't want to have the same lifestyle that my parents have. So these questions are designed to get your prospect to understand they need to have something else on the side, right? I love asking the other question, right? Let me ask you guys on the call today, right now. If you were to lose your job all of a sudden, for every one of you on the call right now, I'm asking you to do this directly. If you were to lose your job all of a sudden, you lost your job right now, and your spouse too. Okay, if you have like a spouse, no. If you both lost your job right now, would you be okay? If the answer is no, you would not be okay, you don't have some passive income business going on, then I encourage you, start working harder on your residual income business. And ask the same question to your prospects. Would you be okay if you lost your job and your spouse lost your job? Do you have a backup plan? Okay? So, and again, the previous question we mentioned before was, have you ever thought about retiring earlier? I love that question. At what age would you want to retire at? 30, 35? Maybe I'm weird, because when I was younger, like 22 years old, I had a goal to retire before the age of 30. It's amazing. Once you have this target in your mind and you start working towards your target, it's amazing how things come true for you. But people who don't have targets, don't have any goals, they have nothing to shoot for, they never get anywhere. So make sure you have your own target. When do you want to retire? Okay? But ask your prospects that same question. Have you ever thought about retiring earlier? When would you want to retire? Or are you on track to that retirement time frame? Would you want to retire earlier than what you said already? And do you know how much stats say the average Canadian needs to retire? $1.3 million based on spending $52,000 per year per person. And the stats show that 60% of all people can't retire. No way. Zero hope. No chance. 20% say they don't know when they can retire. So 60% said absolutely no way, never. 20% said I'm not really sure. So over 80% of people aren't sure, which is pretty scary. Okay, so again, but the purpose of these questions is to help your prospect realize that, you know what, I better have something else on the side. Okay, more great questions to ask is, hey, have you ever read that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad? It's a great book, and if they read it, now you can talk about again how having passive income is so powerful. If they haven't read it, suggest them to read that book. Okay, because Robert Kiyosaki makes more money snoring than we do working, the average person that does working, okay? Because his book now is in about 100 different languages, and it's a very, very famous book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Ask them, do you know what passive income or residual income is? Shockingly, some people at the age that they're at have no idea what passive income is, or that it's even out there. It's shocking. They've been taught this whole thing from the childhood, 9 to 5, work dollar per hour. They never learn the concept of other people working for them, leveraging other people's time and effort, right? It's crazy. Ask that question. I love this question. How's the idea of earning an extra $500 to $1,000 a month sound to you? That sounds great. Oh, well, awesome. Well, I can show you an opportunity that can allow you to earn that potentially on the side without interfering with what you're doing today. No? Would you be open for coffee? Sure. Okay, great. Simple. Okay. Wouldn't it be nice to own a McDonald's or a Starbucks? Yeah. Well, do you have $1.5 million to invest into one? No. Okay. So, well, but you see the power of having a business, right? Yeah. Okay. So now you know that they don't have the money for a business. So now we can show them a much more affordable business to have with huge returns. Okay. And the crazy thing about owning a Starbucks is that your income is always fixed. You can only serve coffee to that many people in your area. If you want to make more money, you have to open a second Starbucks, right? What I love about GWT is my maximum expense compared to owning a franchise restaurant that could be like 80 grand, 50 grand a month overhead. My only overhead is $150 per month, and I can make 6 figures a month income with only a monthly $150 expense. That's the power of network marketing. Okay, small investment, small overhead, but huge unlimited returns on your income. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could retire your parents? Wouldn't that be nice if all of you could actually retire your parents, give them an extra 2 grand a month just to live on? That'd be amazing, right? And wouldn't it be nice if your children could attend the best schools? They have kids? That's a great question to ask. I have 2 boys. I'm proud that my 2 boys can have the best schools in Markham here, okay? And wouldn't it be nice if you could travel anytime you wanted to any place you wanted? Wouldn't that be cool? Do you have a means of doing that right now? Right? Again, all these questions are designed to help your prospect realize I need to have a business, okay? So that's step 2. So step 1, to recap, was like and trust. Step 2 was all of these questions to help prepare your prospect's mindset for them to realize that they need to have a home-based business, okay? Step 3 is now the leading question. Lead into now bringing in what your conversation into the business, right? So it could be, hey, have you ever wanted to do anything else aside from your job? Or have you ever thought about having your own business? Yeah? Well, let's get together. I can show you the incredible opportunity to have your own business and to solve all your problems. Okay? Do you keep your options open? Yeah, wonderful. Well, would you be open-minded to seeing something that could possibly change your life forever? Okay? Just curious, would you be open for a side project if it doesn't interfere with what you're doing already? Sure. Okay, well, great. Well, let's go for coffee. Is Monday at 7 p.m. good for you? So whatever they answer, once they answer your question, go on and book yourself the presentation. So step 4 is to book the presentation, okay? To keep your options open for other opportunities as a part-time basis. Yeah, why not? Okay, wonderful. Well, why don't we go for coffee and let me sit down with you, go over some more details with you. Okay. Because if you did step 1, step 2 properly, you like and trust properly, and you prepare the mindset properly, when you go in to book the step 4, which is to book the tour, they will for sure say yes to you. Okay? Are you looking for a plan B? Do you have a plan B? So whatever they say, that's step 3. The leading question is step 3. And step 4 is to now, once they say yes, you now book the presentation. And so if you've pre-qualified them already, okay, and they are open for looking at opportunity, don't go into selling mode. Some of you, once you get that they're interested, you start to get verbal diarrhea. All you gotta do is book a time to sit for coffee together and go over the presentation. So no verbal diarrhea, okay? Again, schedule a time to properly sit down and do the presentation, okay? So that's all I do. Step one, like and trust. Step two, prepare the prospect's mindset. Step three is the leading question. Step four is book the tour. That's it. So, I like to share with you some quick stories. Last week, I was at my BMW shop getting my car done. Again, I gave the key to the key guy at the front, whatever. His name is Ramsey. And, I said, hey, how's it going? But, nicely today. Again, step one, like and trust. Step two, hey, how long have you been working now for, buddy? Oh, about 6 months. Oh, do you love what you do? Oh, no, I hate my job. Oh, okay. Hey, do you pay a lot of taxes too? Yeah, I pay a lot of taxes. So instantly, in like 4 questions, I got so many of his problems. He hates his job, pays a lot of taxes, you know. So I can identify so quickly, right? So I say, are you open for other opportunities to save on taxes and make some part-time income? Yeah, of course, sure. Okay, well, let's go for coffee then. Okay. And so literally, I had two guys from BMW who worked there join me this past week. I also had people who contacted me from, like my cousin from Australia contacted me, and same thing, like in trust, qualified him, find out where he was at in his life. He has 3 daughters, has a wife. His job is pretty good, but he wants more time with his family. So what I'm teaching you is the same things that I do every single day, and I enrolled 5 people this past week, or a week and a half. It's not hard. It's just going through the process of doing it. Okay, and so usually, these are actually part of our boot camp slide in our boot camp trainings. People actually get together and practice as well too. But for now, that's all I want to share with you tonight, folks, was this training on preparing your prospect's mindset and the approaches. So right now, I want to say thank you for taking the time to hear my training. Hopefully, it was of good benefit for you guys. And of course, perhaps right now we can open up the call for anyone that might have any questions for me. And before we close up the call. And back to you, Anne-Marie. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. So, Anne-Marie, if you're still there, just want to turn the call back over to you.
Thank you, Renee.
So, Anne-Marie, if you're still there, just want to turn the call back over to
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yep, loud and clear. I'm still here. I can still hear you.
Okay, good.
Yep, loud and
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Renee. You know what's amazing with listening to you doing this training is, well, you were just going over that training. Like I've heard it many times. I've listened to it. I've seen it, and it's so amazing because it's really bringing us back to the roots, and really, those simple steps that sometimes we forget, or the question we forget to ask people. And I'm very, very grateful that you took the time tonight to be on the call to help us with approaches, just also before you're coming to Calgary. So it's going to be amazing to have you, because I'm super pumped, and I know I'm going to go and practice even more, making brand new friends, lots of them. And yeah, I'm very grateful for what you did. I just there is a couple comments here I'm seeing on the box here. I'm just going to read you. This is coming from Chad in Medicine Hat. He said that thanks for the training, Renee. Sorry. Always great to have a refresher. Looking forward to your visit next month. See you soon, buddy.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Chad, you managed to have a quick chat with your brother to bring him along, but yeah, I agree with you, Chad.